From there, the song skyrockets you guys into US and international charts. How did you guys first find out your song was charting across the globe?
Well, so it wasn't a fast process. Even in the United States, it was city by city. We would have to go to the cities and play in the lobby of the radio station and beg them to add it, because there'd always be the program director going, guys, I love the song. I just don't think it fits our format, or it doesn't fit the other songs we're playing, because we were not grunge, but we also weren't like pop. We were in this weird nether region kind of thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, you had what? Matchbox 20, Train, Conic, Toad.
Toad the Wet Sprocket was a little ahead of us. And that was something, if we had a station that played them, that was cool. Matchbox 20 was later. Train was later. All those bands were kind of after.
So you were,
because even still, even we didn't.
That was really, 96, right? Was that 96?
Yeah.
I thought so.
It was, we didn't quite fit with the Dave Matthews crowd.
No.
And we didn't really fit with the Hootie and the Blowfish crowd, because everybody kept thinking that we were, I don't know, the rumor was that we were Scottish, and we're like, we are as Texas as you can be. So the long and short of it is, the United States was a slow process, which probably in the end really benefited us. So then we go, and then it's something's happening in Austria. We're going to fly you to Austria. You're going to do some promotion, and then we're going to go to Germany and see if we can get anything going. So it was Austria, and then it was fighting through Germany. Germany took off fairly quickly, and then we had to go to Sweden, and then Norway, and then all, you know what I'm saying? And so, and then it was, okay, Europe's going well. Something's wrong with England. We're sending you to China. So then we do a tour in China and in Malaysia and the Far East. And so that's going crazy. And then we went back to Europe to kind of support some more. And then it was, we got a meeting with England, something's wrong.
Is it true you're British fans for having to buy imported copies of your album and the song for a while?
Yes. So we sit down with the British label, and this was literally the phrase, congratulations on your success in the rest of the world.
Oh, jeez.
We just don't think it's going to work here. The British charts are dominated by British bands. It's Britpop. We just don't think it's going to work. Okay. And
you should have told me you were Scottish.
Yeah. Don't you know? And so my response was, look, no one is expecting, like, no one knows for sure. We're not going to be mad if it somehow doesn't work. It's okay. You know, we thought that they were panicked because it had been so successful and maybe it wasn't going to be. And they're like, no, we're not going to release this. And we're going, you just said it's worked in the rest of the world. Like, we're number 2 in Iceland right now, in Israel. And you think it's not going to work to the point that you don't want to bother releasing this? And then they're like, yeah. And then that meeting was over, and we flew back to Sweden to pick up our tour, just confused as we could possibly be. And then a couple of weeks go by and we get a call. They're going to put the record out. The kids have been buying import CDs from Germany. It's forcing their hand. They're going to have to release it. And so they finally released it half-heartedly, which is why it didn't debut at number 1. It debuted at 3 and then went 3, 2, 1. Yeah. And so that's the kind of mentality we were up against. You know?
I mean, the band then ended up having this popularity in the UK. Mm-hmm. And did you guys then get to go after that and experience that popularity firsthand? Or since you had already been to that part of the world, I mean, in other words, did you then go back overseas to England to experience it firsthand, or no?
No, that was really the strangest thing. So we go number 1. We'd been on top of the pops like 5 times. But because of the way the schedule was, the American label was like, you've been gone for 2 years. You got to come home and start working on another record. So we went number 1 in the UK. We only played there 3 times total, and 2 of which were before the record came out. And then we played one night, the night that the record was released. That's it. So we never did this triumphant tour of this country. It was so, but in the same way, like, you know, we to this day, for whatever reason, we've never played Australia, and it's been one of our biggest countries this whole time. We've never been there.
So in those days, the band was doing these tours and to thousands of fans across the globe, what touring memory sticks out the most? I mean, was there a particular crowd or a fan encounter, something backstage, or something else entirely?
Two of the wildest things were like part of our first shows there. We showed up in Vienna, and we were supposed to do it. It was us and Santana at this horse race track in Vienna. And our gear was stuck in customs in England. And so like we're supposed to be on in an hour. It's Sunday evening, and they're having to like beg shop owners to open up a store so that we can rent instruments, you know, so we get all this stuff to be able to play. And then we get this word, Santana wants to play before you. Like, that's weird, but okay, it's their show. And we didn't know there was this massive storm coming in, and I guess Carlos had a vision. So they play, they leave, our borrowed gear is up on stage, we start playing, and I mean the bottom drops out, ruins all of the gear. The PA is swinging, it's like pandemonium. We go backstage, the label has to buy all this gear, and it's like, well, it's just what happens. You need to go to Amsterdam because that's where your gig is tomorrow. So we fly to Amsterdam, and our gear is supposed to meet us there. But guess where our gear goes? Our gear goes to Vienna. So we're now in Amsterdam with the same problem. But it's a festival. We're first on the bill, like the very first band on this bill. And we think, dude, there'll be a couple of thousand people maybe. So we do the same thing. We figure out, we get borrowed instruments. We walk out there. It is packed. Like it is the biggest crowd I have ever seen in my life. They estimate between 200 and 400,000 people.
So it's Woodstock.
Oh, dude, it is. And they are there because they have heard us and they want to see these dudes from Texas. And we're up there with instruments that barely work. Toby's playing a pink Stratocaster that he can hardly keep in tune. It was, but we were so incensed and angry about the gear situation that it was just head down, just hammering through this set. And the crowd thought it was the greatest thing they had ever seen.
The rain story is funny because it reminds me, I actually went to Woodstock 94 and
with all the mud. Yeah.
And the funny thing is I'm from Woodstock. I went to Woodstock Elementary School. So when everybody was sleeping in the mud at night, we just went back and I slept on my mom's sofa.
Nice.
But the Rollins band, they got hit by a thunderstorm in the middle of it and they just stayed out. And and Henry just kept getting harder. And as it rained harder, he played harder. It was almost like that Prince Super Bowl rain, situation. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the whole time you're thinking somebody's getting electrocuted here.
Yeah, because that's the thing. So we weren't using, because we were on borrowed, we weren't using any wireless units. So we were completely tethered to everything. And that's when things get really dicey.
Yeah.
So in those first 2 days in Europe, it was chaos. But those are the ones that stand out in my mind, just because you just find a way to make it happen, you know. And that part of the touring life is fun. The other parts are not so fun.
Well, I like asking musicians this question. What song, whether it be yours or someone else's, whether it be a cover, whatever, gives you the absolute most joy to either play or listen to?
As far as playing live, we have a song called Daybreak and a Candle End, and it's very difficult to play. And so as far as one of our songs, that's the one I like the most. It's very much, it shows kind of our Rush influence a lot. But as far as listening, the one that I'm just in awe of is a song by Alphaville called Forever Young. And it's been in tons of,
I want to be for, yeah.
I think that there's never been enough said about how perfect that song is and how poignant and how amazing and how it captures kind of the essence of the 80s Cold War paranoia and fear. Like every time I hear it, I'm just like, that song is astounding, right? That's one of those ones. I just heard that the other day and I thought, yep, this one holds for sure.
A bit of personal band trivia. What did you guys consider to be your hometown? Was it Denton or somewhere else?
Denton, yeah. Just because that's where we formed. that's where we all met each other. You know, we still say that we're a Denton band.
And I love the fact that you've all said before the band never broke up. You guys just stopped playing.
Yes.
I actually love the thought behind that. What led to that scenario for the band? And are you guys doing, I know you said something earlier that made me think that maybe there's something on the horizon now.
Yeah, what really happened was we just started having kids. That was for me, you know, when my son was born, your perspective changes. And we had done everything that we had ever set out to do. And there were issues with the record companies, and music had changed. And we're like, well, we're not Christina Aguilera and we're not Limp Bizkit. Maybe our time has kind of come. We don't hate each other. We haven't, you know, blown through the money on Ferraris and cocaine. You know, let's maybe let this kind of be what it is. And so it just kind of stopped. Every once in a while we would go out and play a gig or something. But around 2018, we did an EP and we really had fun with that. And since then, every year, 6 months or so, we've just been putting out a song here and there. We actually just had one come out last Friday. And we've just kind of just been playing shows just for fun. And so it's very much like back to those indie days. We've got no responsibility. We don't answer to anybody. We just do exactly what we want to do. And that keeps it fun.
Well, Todd, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, Todd Pipes.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.